The devil thought he had you, but God had a plan. The devil thought that the heartbreak will humble you, but it just made you dangerous. The enemy thought he had you, but God used that betrayal to unlock your discernment, to unlock your prayer life, and to unlock the power of God in you. Now, you're too wise to fall for the same tactics twice. It wasn't that you were crazy, you were under attack. But grace covered you. Grace covered the parts of you that you couldn't even pray about. Because the enemy thought that you would break down. But God rebuilt you in silence. And now your peace is proof that even though hell had a plan, heaven had the receipts. Because the enemy thought he had you when you were quiet, when you felt isolated, when you were overthinking and doubting God. But even then, you were still covered by God. You were still called, you were still chosen. And then the devil went further and tried to send delays your way. But God used them as character development. The enemy thought you would give up when it got hard. But you kept praying, you kept showing up. And now, your testimony is his worst case scenario. That setback, it was actually spiritual surveillance. God was just watching who stayed, who folded, and who prayed for you. Because the enemy thought that the storm was going to silence you, but instead, it taught you how to speak with fire and with authority. See, the devil did not expect that you were going to come back stronger. But look at you, glowing and giving God all the glory through your testimony. In fact, the enemy thought it was over. But God said, watch me resurrect the version of themselves that I always wanted to use. And it's funny because the devil didn't know that you were God's favorite. And he had a plot twist waiting just for him. Because on the days when you were isolating yourself, that's when God met you. God met you in the silence, in the tear. And because of that encounter, you hear God clearer than ever before. The devil thought that the delay was going to destroy you, but it just made you disciplined. It just increased your love for God. And there were days that the enemy thought you would lose your mind. In fact, you came this close to losing your mind. But instead, you lost your fear. You lost your need for people pleasing and need to be liked. You lost the version of you that kept shrinking. And now, you are unshakable. And there were times that the enemy thought that he could use people to break you. But all he did was show you the people you needed to stop praying for. You didn't lose. So you didn't lose. You learned. And now, even though your circle is smaller, your spirit is stronger. Yes, the weapon they formed against you, but thank God it backfired. Because the enemy thought that he had you when everybody left. When people lied about you, when people you loved and trusted ghosted you, but all it did was push you closer to purpose. Because God said, I will use this too. And that was the enemy's worst mistake, letting you survive the attack. Because now, you are not just healed, you are dangerous. You pray differently, you walk into rooms differently, and you know who you are. He thought that whatever you lost was going to make you bitter, but it made you bold, and you stopped explaining yourself to people, and it helped you to stop releasing the things that God wanted you to release. The devils thought you were going to stay grieving, but grace showed up and gave you new strength. So this is your testimony. Yes, the devil tried to break you, but you survived because of grace. You are still covered and you are still chosen by God every day. Stay blessed.